Today we're going to take an in-depth look at the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. Many of you may ask, what is a type indicator? Well, in simple terms, it is a personality test, which are usually a series of questions that classify people based on the answers they give. Personality tests are not new. They were developed in the early 20th century to complement the field of clinical psychology. As the clinical psychologists wanted to provide a better understanding of the mental health of their patients, they designed assessments and questions to aid in their diagnosis and treatment. Over time, the test expanded. Many new tests were developed and included empirical and theoretical ideas. Over the last century, personality tests began to be used in the occupational field. Organizations wanted to ensure that people they hire are up for the job and could best support their companies. Through the years, the use of tests has grown so that they are now considered common in all types and sizes of organizations. Tests have also been used in educational settings. Schools wanted to ensure that students are pursuing studies in which they will better succeed and how they can learn best. While the tests may have been used in the past as a way to define so as to limit and select, they now appear to be shifting towards using them as a tool to also integrate and adapt. There are hundreds of different tests that are now available, but the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is still one of the most popular. It is taken by over 2 million people a year and generates revenues of $200 million a year. So why are personality tests so popular? We all want certainty in our lives. For individual, it can be as simple as shaking a wrapped present or keeping an eye on the weather forecast, or as important as the choices we make in jobs and relationships. For institutions, it is a quest to determine the right fit so money isn't wasted. For society, certainty takes the form of negotiating peace with other countries so we don't go to war and researching the effects of climate change. Certainty is not a bad thing, as it can make us feel secure and comfortable. So what a better way to contribute to one's senses of security than understanding who we are? Personality tests are one way we see to do this.
So how did the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator start? It was created by a mother-daughter duo, Katharine Cook Briggs and Isabel Briggs Myers. Let's look at these influential women. On January 3, 1875, Katharine Cook Briggs was born in East Lansing, Michigan. When she was 15 years old, she started attending the Michigan Agricultural College. It was there where she met Lyman Briggs, which happens to be the same Lyman Briggs that our college was named after. They then started to date each other while they were in college, and after they had both graduated, they married and had 2 children, Isabel and Albert. After their children were born, it was there that Katharine's psychoanalytical passion was born. She started to write in a journal each day where she would write down observations she made about her children's actions. Her observational mindset set her off on a long journey of trying to figure out how to type personalities. She found her answers in a man named Carl Jung. Carl Jung is considered to be the founding father of modern-day psychology. He developed the terms introvert and extrovert that were used to describe the basic personality types. Katharine devoted a lot of time to understanding Jungian theory. After about 20 years of research and dedication to personality indication, Katharine had created the first survey that would contain questions created with the purpose of typing personalities. Her daughter Isabel can be credited with the finalization of the personality test, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, which was first published in 1943.
The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator creates 4 dimensions of personality types: extrovert and introvert, sensing and intuition, thinking and feeling, judging and perceiving. Specifically, extroverts are energized by people and enjoy a variety of tasks on a quick pace. Introverts often like working alone or in small groups and like to focus on one task at a time. Sensors are realistic people who like to focus on facts and apply common sense and past experience to come up with solutions to problems. Intuitives prefer to focus on possibilities in the bigger picture by searching for patterns and creative solutions to problems. Thinkers tend to make decisions using logical analysis by weighing the pros and cons and searching for fairness. Feelers tend to be sensitive and base their decisions on their personal values and how others may think of them. Judgers tend to be organized and prepared by sticking to plans and following rules. Perceivers like to keep their options open by acting spontaneously and having a flexible schedule.
There are ultimately 16 different personality types based on the Myers-Briggs indicator. Typically, people are categorized into types by a letter combination. This letter combination is a reflection of the 4 dimensions of personalities. E for extrovert, I for introvert, S for sensing, N for intuition, T for thinking, F for feeling, J for judging, and P for perceiving. Today, celebrities and people in power are still categorized by these letter combinations.
Over time, companies, medical professions, and universities have utilized the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator to select future employees and students, and to better those who are already in the field in order to choose the best candidates for success. Recent statistical studies indicate that 1 in every 5 Fortune 1000 companies use the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator in their hiring process. To test whether or not this indicator is substantial enough to choose successful employees, research was conducted on 8,709 participants who were either managers, managers of managers, supervisors, or specialists. These participants took the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator and were placed into one of the 16 personality categories. They were then asked to take an IQ test in order to see if there was any correlation between personality and intelligence. The test found that introverted, sensing, and perceiving types achieved higher scores when they were asked to take intelligence tests, and feeling and thinking types had scored negatively related to the cognitive ability. With this information, companies can choose the best employees for certain jobs.
So we've seen how the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator is used in the corporate world, but it's also been used in service-oriented professions like medicine. Many patients say their doctors don't know how to talk to them, so a study in the UK decided to see if this communication could be improved. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator was given to 464 medical school graduates. Personality profiles were constructed based on the results, and those results were then compared with personality preferences in a representative sample of the UK adult population who would be the potential future patients. The comparison found that there were differences in the personality types of doctors and the general public. These differences were especially seen in the categories of perception, thinking and feeling, judgment, and judging versus perceiving. You might expect that the doctors who scored the worst would be considered losers and weeded out of the profession, but that is not the case. The good news is that the results don't mean that the doctor-patient relationship is damaged beyond repair. Once medical schools are aware that these issues could hinder their future students in practice, curriculum can be adapted to teach better ways of communication. And once doctors are aware of the barriers, they can make an effort to change their communication and interaction style.
Besides companies, some universities also use the personality indicator in their enrollment process. Researchers use the personality profiles of thousands of students pursuing education degrees in order to find out if specific personality characteristics could be associated with effective teaching. The researchers looked at 3 different types of students: those who failed to complete their preparation to become teachers, those who did complete their preparation to become teachers, and those who completed their preparation for a specific area of teaching. It was found that those students who fell under the sensing, feeling, judging categories on the Myers-Briggs Personality Type Indicator were a majority of the students who completed their teaching preparations. Their research shows how students' personality tests can be used to determine whether or not they will be successful teachers. So the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator may help determine which students will be the best students. We can also subjectify students, alluding to the idea that the winners of the personality tests are only those who fall under a certain type indication.
The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator has also been used to see how personality type influenced areas of study. One study looked at music students at the university in Florida. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator was given to 217 music majors studying music business, music composition, music education, music engineering, music performance, and music therapy. The results revealed that most of the music students were of the ENFP type. This type is described as enthusiastic, visionary, energetic, creative, warm, constantly searching for new things to take part in or to do the familiar in a new way, and difficulty saying no when under stress. The next 3 common types all had the same NF core, especially the N with different type indicators on each end. The author concluded the results should not be seen as limitations, but as ways to help students entering or currently in music study. Knowing characteristics of one's personality can help understand them. Also knowing them can help students interact with others.
Not only has the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator been used by companies and universities, but also big-name social media platforms like BuzzFeed, Facebook, and Twitter. With the use of the internet, the personality test has been altered into more entertaining forms, like tests that ask, which celebrity am I more like? If you were a dog, which breed would you be? BuzzFeed consists of hundreds of personality tests regarding character or individual determination. These tests can structurally alter self-worth, indication, and a decrease in information avoidance. While the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator's intended purpose was to be used as a self-identification system to allow people to understand why they are the way they are, the use of the internet has allowed businesses and universities easier access to the test and allowed for alterations of the indicator through online social media. The type indicator is now being used by businesses to separate potential employees from best to worst personality type. Universities have also used the test to choose certain students for specific career pathways and to determine how many students will finish their schooling based on their personality type. When the test was created, it was supposed to make everyone a winner. Each person who took the test would be able to better understand themselves, and that would reflect how they acted in society. Over time, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator has become less effective for self-identification. Digital influence has diminished the purpose of the test, as social media has warped the test into an entertainment business. Some companies and universities use the results in a positive way, like teaching the takers how to integrate and adapt based on their personality style. However, there are also unintended consequences of the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, as some companies and universities use the results to inappropriately segregate, limit, and select the takers into winners and losers to further their own institutional or financial gain. So, for the losers, the certainty they hoped for is lost. Catherine and Isabel taught us the importance of understanding oneself, and how understanding who you are and why you are that way will lead to better self-care and love.